This is a quick introduction to some of the features and controls on the 2020 Subaru Ascent. So everybody knows sort of how to unlock and lock the doors, how to use your windows, and how to actually lock the windows if you wanted to lock the windows from the passenger side to the rear windows. If you have little guests that you don't want to mess with your windows. To adjust the mirrors, you move to the left, then you use it like a joystick to adjust. So pretty simple controls here, and this is going to be the same in any of the Subaru vehicles to adjust the mirrors. Notice the blind spot indicator. It's kind of a black rectangular size on the black mirror housing. So that's your blind spot indicator. Down on the dash on the lower left hand side, you'll find the button to open and close the lift gates. You'd press this to open or to close it respectively. There's this handy dandy little button that's in the 2020 that is not in the 2019 Subaru Ascent. What this does is it allows all of the lights to be illuminated all the way to the back of the vehicle. So for parents or people that want to illuminate the entire vehicle, we now have a button for that. This is the memory height button, so this allows you to be able to set the height of the lift gate. And the reason that you might want to do that is for if you're towing, potentially if you are racking things on top of the vehicle, or maybe if it's just difficult to touch the button to close the height of close the lift gate. This is a great option for all of those purposes. And then to the right side, this would be your dash dimmer switch. So really easy to adjust the brightness of the dash. Down on the lower left side is vehicle dynamics control. So if you wanted to turn off your vehicle dynamics control, that would be the button to use. And then next to that is the blind spot indicator off button. So this would turn off your blind spot, which is right there. Only reason I can think of is for people that maybe are in traffic frequently and the blind spot is always on. On the left side of the steering wheel, you have your lights. You notice they're in auto right now, so the auto sensor, which is up top here, is going to notice when it's dark out and turn on the headlights. Anytime you put the car into operation or put the car into drive, daytime running lights will come on. This is your parking lights and headlights. And then on the left side spoke of the steering wheel, we have our arrows. And I described this in lots of videos, but the arrows will scroll you to your next preset station. This car does have a CD player, so if you had a CD, it would be the next track and so on. Volume toggle, of course, there's a volume dial here that you can use for the same operation. Source is your audio source. This is your Bluetooth hands-free link. So once you set up your cell phone, you can use this button in two ways. One of them, you press and release it. It would go into the Subaru system. Press and hold, or a long press, will bring you either into G-O-G-G-L-E or Siri hands-free. So if you do have your phone set up for voice command, this is one of the easiest ways to control your phone through the vehicle. This would allow you to pick up a call if the call is coming in, and then hang up the call if you're finished with that call. Down on the left side, this is about 8 o'clock on the steering wheel. So if you notice, it's down here, and you put your hand on the steering wheel where you would normally have it, and then just slide your hand down and use your fingers. So these controls will actually adjust what's between the tachometer and speedometer so that you can see, well, right now it's not in PSI, but your tire pressure on each tire. The tire pressure will read out once you start to go about 30 miles an hour. Digital speedometer, how long we've been in the car, so this is already a 6-minute video. How much fuel is left in the tank, a guesstimate. And then average fuel economy so far, so you can actually select a trip A or a trip B to kind of keep track of what's happening with your fuel economy. And then there's also a menu you can go into to make some adjustments. Now notice there's a car with its tail lights on. That is a part of your adaptive cruise control. So on the right side of the steering wheel, you have your adaptive cruise. You can use this button that I just put my finger on to turn it on or off. So once I turn it on, a couple of things come up. It lets you know, hey, your cruise control is on. It gives you some lane markings. It gives you --MPH, which just means this is the speed that you set. So once we start to accelerate, I could go over to my toggle and set my speed. And I can also use this toggle to adjust the speed up or down. So a flick up or a flick down is going to go up or down by 5-mile increments. And if I want to go by 1 mile per hour, I will pull up and hold it, and then I'll be able to adjust by 1 mile per hour, which is fantastic. So what you're seeing here is the cruise control. It's ready and available to be used. It just has to be set once the car is in operation. So if I were to set it from a stopped position, 20 miles per hour is the slowest speed that you can set your cruise control to, but the car will follow and bring you to a complete stop at lower speeds. So just so you know, it's very adaptable. To adjust how far you want to be from your lead vehicle, you use these arrows on the right side of the steering wheel to adjust. So you can either use the up arrow to go further or the down arrow to get closer to the vehicle in front of you. So at an example of 60 miles per hour, if you're at this distance, you'd be at about 100 feet from the lead vehicle. If you were going 60 and you're at the furthest distance, you'd be at about 200 feet. Now this button down here is different in the Ascent than it is in some of the other vehicles, like our 2020 Outback. This would be lane keep assist. And notice if I press the button, the icon comes up and then some gray lines to the side. What this is doing is it's just letting me know that the feature is on. Once we start to drive outside and the vehicle starts to see consistent lane markings at 37 miles per hour or more, the lines on the side will start to turn white. And what it's doing is just letting you know, hey, I see those lines. If you were to try to steer yourself out of the lane, it would give you a little tug in the steering wheel to try to keep you within those lane markings. So the way this works is with your eyesight cameras, which are up here. These 2 stereo eyesight cameras. So these are always looking out over the road, scanning what's in front of the vehicle, looking at those lane markings, helping you with your adaptive cruise control. So those are the basics of the first part of the Ascent.